people. It's May 2021. I'm here in Tanner, Alabama with the one and only Greg Bridgeforth, a fifth generation farmer, father of the great Bridgeforth family who've set an example in the United States for farming. Brother Greg, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, indeed. So tell us about growing up in Tanner and the Bridgeforth family.
Man, that's a big thing. But growing up was, growing up as a farmer, never everything that we done was for the farm. Was for the never worked on nobody else's farm. They're always here and hard work. We had coming up with kids that lived over in the next community and in this community. They would have most times they would have their summers off. Well, at least part of it, yes. And some of them would work on other farms for other people, but we had to do ours, and our work was the whole summer. And
you worked the whole summer.
The whole summer.
You mean you never went to the Bahamas for vacation?
Oh,
what is the Bahamas?
Yeah.
That's Billy over there. Billy said, what?
We didn't know nothing but Alabama.
But you said something that I think Brother John, your older brother, said yesterday. He said the thing that made it different for you all was that you worked in your own land, yeah. Whereas a lot of the other black folk in Alabama had they were sharecroppers. Yeah. Tell us the difference between their existence and your existence.
Well, what is the difference was, I guess, that, like I said, it's just now you're coming up in Alabama during that time. Everybody was poor, as you might say. It wasn't no extra nothing, I guess, to a degree. Everybody raised their own food. Everybody, you raise your animals and your meat for the winter. Everybody had to can for the winter. But
did you all can your food? You can your food?
Yes. We had to. When harvest was they had a time they called lay-by time. That was normally in July, early July. All the cotton had been. You don't clean the cotton. Everything cotton is growing good. So that's the time that we would go harvest. We would go pick plums for Mama to can, make jelly, and pick peaches, apples canning for the winter months.
So you had your own home cannery.
Yeah, yeah, Mama and us. And but the difference that was in that I saw that we just Lord blessed us to and Daddy was always when we went to the co-op for fertilizer and everything, a lot of times they would put blacks at the back of the line. If you had to have your fertilizer spread, blacks would always be at the black after they finished everybody else's crop. So Daddy figured out one day, hey, he told us that, hey, we need to do everything ourselves. So back then he even bought a old, I guess today it'd be a semi, but it was it's a gas burner road tractor and an old Killebrew. So what's
an old Killebrew?
That's what they would haul fertilizer in.
Okay, that's like a tractor or trailer.
It's more like a trailer.
Okay,
it's a trailer, and my oldest brother, he was the one that would drive. He would go to Florence down at the and pick up. He would pick up fertilizer for us to spread.
That's Brother John.
That's George. George passed away, okay. But George he was the first, and I was occasionally got to go with him sometime to actually see what they're doing and what to do.
So let me understand this. So you would go to the co-op and they'd put the black farmers at the back of the line. So your father decided, okay, I'm going to change the script. Let me get me a tractor, an old Killebrew, and get me my own fertilizer.
Yeah.
So where would he get it from?
He would go to Florence.
I see.
That the same place that the co-op would get the fertilizer from. He would go down. He guess he knew some people, talked to some people. He would just go down there and get it, get it for himself.
So by his wisdom, his grit, his diligence, he moved from dependency to self-reliance.
Yes.
So he wasn't going to rely on the corp anymore and be at the back of anybody's line.
Yeah.
He sort of got things together and went to Florence to get his own fertilizer.
Yeah.
How did that help?
That helped us because we could always do stuff on time. When you put at the back of the line, during them days, it was always a rush to get your cotton planted early because you're trying to beat the boll weevil.
I see. The boll weevil was a pest.
Yeah, he was a pest.
What did it do? Destroy the cotton?
Yeah, he would eat the cotton.
Okay.
Yeah, there wasn't many insecticides back then to control it, but back then, the earlier you get your cotton planted, your cotton could make some cotton before the boll weevil actually had a chance to get to it.
Has the boll weevil been eradicated?
Yes, eradicated, and I guess it's really going through the United States. I don't think it's all complete yet, but they is eradicated here in Alabama.
Okay, and when about what time or what year was it gotten rid of?
Ask that question again.
When about what time was the boll weevil eradicated?
That was in the 90s.
In the 90s?
About mid-90s.
Okay, and what did they use for?
Well, they used chemicals, and we didn't have to apply the chemical. They automatically just applied the chemical.
I see. The government did?
Yes.
The Alabama Department of Agriculture?
Yes.
Okay.
And all we just had to live through it.
Yes,
because it also killed boll weevil and killed all the beneficials. So it was I guess them was some hard times through.
But let me understand something about the economy. So you have your farm, the Bridgeforth farm, but you're doing also your own meat. You had your own meat.
Yeah.
So what you had, cattle or pigs? What you
cattle? Yeah, we had cattle. They didn't back. Mama never done a lot of pigs. She never liked a lot of pork. I don't she never told us why, but that's just where
What about chickens? You had chickens?
Yeah, we had chickens. Cows, and
sheep, goat. No.
No sheep, no goats.
Okay.
Just mainly cows and chickens.
Yes, sir. And so you'd prepare your own meat and store your own meat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then of course your vegetables or fruits, you can those.
Yes, can them. Yeah, we would raise a garden every year. Actually, out there where all the out there, if that green area out there where we park a lot of equipment now. Yes, sir. That used to be our garden.
Yes, sir.
That whole area was.
So what you're telling me, Brother Greg, is that you really ran a self-sufficient operation.
Yeah.
You didn't depend a lot on the supermarket.
No. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually a picture of it.
So that's a picture over here. Brother Billy just showed me. So just point to me over here.
See the garden. You can actually see some things was out there in that garden.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And this is a picture of the farm workshop. Some of the silos taken from the air.
Yeah.
Back then there was no drones, so this is a helicopter or something.
Airplane.
Airplane. Yeah. This is outstanding. And we're here in the farm office and over here. Tell me a little bit about the picture over here, Brother Greg. Show me which one of the family members is you.
Let's see. I'm right here.
Amazing. This was taken what year?
This was in 2000.
Show me Billy.
99.
99? Okay. Let me find Billy. He's in here. He got somebody on his head. I don't looked at this picture 1,000 times.
Is that Billy over to your left or to your right?
Right here. Right.
That's right. Who's on his head? Is that Kyle?
That's Kyle.
Yes, indeed.
He's a ham, man. He always is.
That's right. I can tell you, man, this trip here is one of the best trips I've taken in my life because what it's come together and here, let me just go over to Billy. Brother Billy, what comes with what Greg and you and the family have done is really inspirational because, what he just told me is not only did your father not want to depending on the co-op, he got his own Killaroo little tractor, went to Florence, got his fertilizer, but you also had your farm for your own food needs. And you canned, what, peaches? What else did you can, Brother Billy?
Oh.
Well, you was the last, so you would remember, right?
I think Greg doing a lot better with that interview than I'll ever do. So I'm going to defer to Greg.
And I'm gonna come back to you because I know you're looking at some plats there, some projects.
I want to show this to Greg before he left.
Yes, indeed. So, Greg, I know he's got some business to do with you, but let me just ask you, if I were to ask you, sir, for young people coming up, what are the value systems that you thought made for the success of the Bridgeforth family farm? What would you say those were?
Man, is work and not be envy. You know, we was coming up, we took care of each other. As far as you know, if we didn't feel one got more than the other guy, then I ain't gonna work because it was all group effort. So
Yes, sir.
never envy is one thing that'll take everything from you.
Yes, sir.
So we didn't have envy coming up. And actually, this one thing when it was coming up, I had graduated from high school.
And by the way, talking about graduating from high school, you mentioned to me you came up during the time of segregation.
Yeah.
And you went from segregation to integration.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Man, that was well, you know, it's a funny thing. Being light skinned in a black school was a challenge in its own right there.
Yeah,
You know, and
so you said to me when you're in the black school, they thought you were white.
yeah.
And when you're in the white school, they say you're black.
Yeah. Well, this the funny thing. I was actually excited about going to the other school. You know, I thought maybe I would fit in somewhere.
Yeah.
And the first day at school, they had an assembly.
Hmm.
And,
Is that in the black school or the white
This
school?
is white school. This is the first day at the white school. They had an assembly, so everybody went to the room, and we had this room. I guess the rooms had numbers on them, so we had to find that number and go to that room. And so I did. And when I got there, you know, the black kids on one side, white kids on one side, and I was sitting with the black kids. The teacher walked in. I never forget that. She looked at me. She said, "Come here." And I said, "Me?" I said, "Hell, I ain't done nothing." I said, "I ain't done nothing. Sit down." But I got on up. You know, I was obedient. And she asked me, "Are you white or black?" And I thought it was a trick question. I didn't know what to answer. I said, "Well, let me go back to my raising. Always tell the truth."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I said, "I'm black." She said, "Well, you go back and sit where you were sitting there."
Oh, that's so funny.
So at the white school, I still didn't fit in. But,
Yes, sir.
But still, out of all of that, people that the white kids, man, I got along with white kids, got along with black kids.
Hey, this is Bill.
It's just, I'm just a way of life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's the thing. I think, you know, the message of your story that I think is so beautiful for the country is, man, you know, this is all about skin deep. You know, it's really about your heart and your character. Dr. King said it best, you know, you judge people by the content of your character. And when I was talking to Doris and Olivia yesterday, they said it best, that honesty. You know, the Bridgeforth family was known as hardworking, honest, thrifty, diligent, and she also said something too.
Thank you, man.
I think Kyle said it, faith.
Yeah.
Tell me the role that faith played in your success.
Well, faith is everything. Mama was a church, I guess more of a daddy, wasn't so much of a church person in his younger days, but Mama always took us to church. You know, she had us involved with anything the church would do, you know, for us the Easter speeches and Christmas and, you know, all the things that churches do. And unique, we only had church two two Sundays out of a month when we're coming up.
Yes, sir.
And that was kind of unique. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
we as boys, you know, we always wanted to do what Dad done. You know, so
Yes, sir.
Dad wasn't much of a church person, so I said I ain't gonna be much of a church person either. You know.
Yes, sir.
But Mom always encouraged us to
Go to church. Yeah,
Go to
and
church.
and tell me the role that prayer plays in your life. You got
Play a big role. Man, without prayer, I mean, but then this gonna go back. I'm gonna take you back a few minutes to me and Billy.
Yeah.
We was coming up, and this kind of a funny story.
yes, sir.
It was a day. If you've been down to the office where the long room where the dens and tables are,
Yeah.
me and Billy that day in that room, we decided Billy was doing something, and me and him really got into it that day.
Yes.
And I said, we're going to take it outdoors.
Yeah.
You know, Billy, cocky as he is, he said, okay, we're taking it outdoors. So we took it outdoors, and, you know, we were really, and this, you know, we were throwing punches. He missed, and I missed. But then I said, you know what? I'm going to knock him out this time. And I threw a punch, and luckily,
Yes, sir.
he got out of the way. And I mean, it was so much I put everything I had in it. I spun around 3 or 4 times.
So you thought you were Muhammad Ali or something?
And from that day, we decided we're not going to fight anymore.
That's right.
We're going to be
That's
we're
right.
going to be brothers, and we're going to we're going.
And I can tell you, in the little time I've spent with Billy, you know, I'm sure Billy loves all his family, but he talks about you a lot. You know, there's a lot of love between you and Billy, and I mean, you can just sense when someone speaks the respect that they
Well, let me tell you this about him. I guess I'm hopping on Billy a little bit. When I was getting back when I graduated from high school, and you know, it was time for college. I wasn't too much wanting to go to college, but Mama was always wanting everybody to go to college. So Dad only had enough money for one of us to go.
Okay.
So he looked at me, he looked at Billy, looked at me again, and he said, we're going to send Billy to college. he said, Billy going to go to college, he going to learn, and he going to come back and teach us. And that's been kind of one of our goals, you know.
Yes, sir. Each one teach one.
Yeah. And
That's nice.
and not and being and you know, it's not in most thing in a family, it's not no big eyes, little U's. You know, we all work, and we were brought up to work as a team.
Yes, sir.
It don't matter what you got to do or who got to do it. Work as a team.
Yes,
And that's the way we've always, and that's where I work today.
Yes, sir.
And not necessarily you work where you're best fit. That's how we try to organize people here. You work where you fit, you know, where you
can do your best.
yeah, where you
And
do
because
your
everybody has his or her own strengths, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
What you may be able to do well, Billy may not be and able to do, and Olivia and then Mitch. And you know, I take so much from this conversation. I mean, you talk about honesty. You talk about hard work. You talk about the importance of prayer, faith, self-reliance, planning. And also, you mentioned something very important, the need not to live your life with envy of others. Don't ever envy. My mother and father always tell us, never be envious of others. You never know how they got what they got. Mm-hmm. You know, because envy takes a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. Takes you away from what you ought to do. And then you talk about teamwork. Someone once said, teamwork makes the dream work. And I want you to just step outside and just show me a little bit of the outside and the area, because someone, I think Kyle said, you grew up in that house. Can you just show me outside? Yeah. So we're leaving the office, and so the Bridgeforth farm is really like a small town. I was coming down, and on both sides of the road are Bridgeforth farms. Yeah. So over here is this all of this here we look at. All this is a farm.
Now, everybody, believe it or not, everybody in the community are relatives.
Amazing.
You know, let me point to this tree. That tree right there.
Okay.
I got a whooping because over
What
trying
kind of
to-
tree is that, by the way?
That's an oak tree.
I thought so. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and I've been in it over, almost broke it, and like you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
And
And that house is your family house
that's
behind
right.
the tree.
That's right. That's the house that they said built. Actually, I guess when I was born.
Amazing.
Yeah, Daddy. It used to be down there, the house here down there. That's my mother lived there, but it used to be a two-story house here.
Okay.
And that's kind of the family that we would. And the first TV, I guess, in this whole community
Yes.
was down at my grandfather's, and we had the privilege of looking at TV once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Papa could look at it when he got ready, but the kids were going to look at TV once a week.
Yes, sir. Brother Greg, a lot of people will be seeing this, old, young. The young people, especially those who are in urban centers whose roots may have been in Alabama, but they went up to Detroit and D.C. and Cleveland and stuff. What's the message that you would like to say to them about farming?
Farming is a good life. And I can tell you, farming and it's done a lot for a lot of people. And a lot of people had this stigma about it, because of chopping cotton, picking cotton, and there's so many areas in agriculture now that they even looking for blacks to work in agriculture.
Yes.
Like you met one the other day. That's a chemical salesman. His background is in agriculture.
That's Lawson Rowe.
Lawson Rowe, that's correct.
And then he knew the gentleman from Dominica, Dr. Clayton Shillingford. They both worked at DuPont. Isn't that something? I came and met you, and when I saw him next to you, I thought he was your brother.
Yeah.
Because you favor each other, And then only to find out he'd been working at DuPont Labs with Dr. Clayton Shillingford for about 20 some odd years. Dr. Clayton Shillingford went to the same high school as I did in Dominica in the 1940s. Of course, I wasn't born yet, but it's just a small world. And then I met Lamont, and Lamont said that he'd been to Dominica. And more than that, he'd been to St. Joseph, which is where my mother was born. So the world is something else. And Lamont is your nephew.
No, Lamont is my son.
Oh, Lamont is your son.
Yeah,
That's right.
my oldest son.
That's your oldest son. That's right. But he's a very fine gentleman, And you've got something in your hand. I want to, say I gave this copy of Caribbean Glory with Wendell Christian of Dominica here, Ulrich Cross of Trinidad, Dudley Thompson of Jamaica, Twist Bertrand of Dominica. These are the veterans of World War II. And I gave it to Greg. It's the only copy I had because Greg is a sharp historian. What made you such a sharp historian, Brother Greg?
Man,
You knew all about the Tuskegee Airmen, and I know Tuskegee is in Alabama, but you had some knowledge that the average person does not have.
Well,
I thought you were a farmer, not a historian.
But I just love history,
Yes, sir.
Talking, my daughter was an English teacher,